Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity. And if you never noticed, I was missing last week. Yes, I was exhausted, so I just really had to rest my bones last week, but I'm here today. So what are we going to do? We are going to do these two. Now, if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I did a piggy haul, and this is two of the items, and I really like these. I may or may not use that little collection. I kind of like the scatty open oak leaf look and the rose hip. So the idea is to do something to make a card using these. And as you can see, I haven't snipped them apart yet, so we're going to do some inking first. So I'm using fossilized amber, forest moss, brushed corduroy and fired brick. Now, whatever colours say autumn to you, those are the colours that you should use, but those are the four that I intend to use. Now, I am also going to use my scruffy mat, and I've got my bigger one today in case I make too much of a mess. And I'm just moving my ruler. Yeah, when I need to do measurements, it's not on my desk, and when I don't, it's there. Right, so that is a grey scruffy mat that might have sent my camera a bit funny. And I'm using a sheet, this has been cut in two, of the Walmart heavyweight watercolour cardstock, which I'm always telling you, do get it, it's absolutely fabulous. So, colours of autumn, that's what we're doing. So the first thing I want to do is squish a bit of ink down on the mat. Now I'm going to do one section, and the reason for doing that is because when you cut your leaves out, you want the patination on them to be a bit different, and if you do it all on one sheet, it may not, do you know what I mean? Parts of some leaves might look repeated, and I'm trying to avoid that. So anyway, there's one sheet, but first of all I'm using my mat. Now I think the colour that I'm going to go down with first is going to be fossilized amber. Why not? And I've got my lovely Walmart squirty bottle, which has got hopefully enough water in it. So I just want to put down onto my mat a little bit of fossilized amber. I'm squishing it on there. Now you will find, and I'm always saying this, with some silicone mats, certain pigments will stain them permanently, and yellow can be one of them. So now I'm just splattering in some water, and then all you've got to do is pick your sheet up and press it down. I like to use my fingers because it spreads the ink. Can you see that? It's all squishing out everywhere, and that's what you want. You want value for money. So I'm going to let that drip down. I do have my heat tool, but I just want to get my yellow on first. So you just want bits of colour in different places. So I'm just dripping and running this. Now of course I can do this for a very long time, and sometimes I do, because you can just layer up colour on top of colour. So I'm just dripping and moving, and I'm going to do that bit up there as well. I think that's a bit dry. And one of the nice things to do is, if you've got a mat like this, is to have your little puddle of colour in the middle, press your cardstock down into it, and then weight it down with something if you've got a couple of steel rule dies, because you find that the squishing of the water or the ink creates the most natural ink splash effect. And I don't know if you've ever put it onto acetate and then put another piece of acetate on top, and you can see how the ink spreads and puddles, and it just looks a lot more natural. But I don't have time for that, but you do. I don't have time for that at the moment. Right, so picked up quite a little bit of ink there, so I'm starting with that first, and I know that there's some on my mat, but I'm going to dry this. And what I'll do is I'll carry on drying so that you're not sitting there forever, and I'll come back when this is dry and we'll do the next colour. Okay, so that's dry, and the next colour I want to do is the brushed corduroy. You can do your colours in whatever, you know, configuration you want. I didn't clean my mat, I'm just putting this down straight on top of where I've absorbed up all the fossilised amber. And then once again, just a little bit there. And you can see I've got some raw edge which has got no ink on it. So I've got that. And then you just start to look at how you like it and what you're doing with it. And although it's autumn, I don't really want my colours to be too dark. So we're just adding colour on top of colour, and then I've got a big blank space there. And I'm going to rub that in. Yeah, and I'm going to do there, just to pick it up from the mat. Right, so that's what I've got now, and I'm just going to dry it and I'll be back. Right, so now that's the fossilised amber, and the camera doesn't always show it true. It's a lot more yellowy than it actually looks there. I mean, this looks, you know, creamy white, but it isn't. And sometimes I don't know how to kind of like manoeuvre the paper to get the correct shade. But anyway, we have the fossilised amber and we have the brush corduroy, and the next one I want to use is the forest moss. So exactly the same again. I haven't cleaned my mat. You can still, there's still all kinds of different colours of ink on there, but I will clean it right at the end. So I'm getting quite a lot of that down and squirt in again. And if you want something to be a little bit more concentrated, then just don't add as much water. And now you can see I've got large yellow areas here. I know they look cream, but I want to go foresty moss into those. See that? Ooh, that's a nice swirl. I actually like that. And then I'm going to drip that back onto the mat off the end. I'm going to go there. And then I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go there. Try and take up a lot of it now. So there's now 3 shades on there. Oh, I do like that. That's a great background for wildflowers. And I think I'm going to do this little space here. Right, so once again I'm going to dry it and I will be right back. Right, so as you can see we've now got 3 colours on there, and the next one I want to put on is the fired brick. So once again straight into the same mess down here. I haven't cleaned the mat yet, and I'm just pushing that on. And I'm popping the lid back on it. I hope everyone had a great weekend. You should let me know down below. I always like to know what is it that you're crafting, because I'm nosy. Because I might want to do it too. So we've got a little bit of red creeping into there now, which is nice. Alright, I'm going into the middle. I want to drip that. And we've got some more. So we are getting quite autumnal now. And I've got an edge there. And I've got all tiny little speckles, so I want to get those little speckles into that area. I'm just having a good look. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, and then you can decide when you put your dies on here to cut your leaves out where exactly you're going to have them. But there's some nice little dots just left on the mat, so I'm just picking them up. And I've got a bare patch here. And I don't mind bits of white showing through when I do stuff like this. I just think it's a nice contrast when you're die cutting. So I'm picking that bit up. So what I am going to do now, I'm quite happy with that, is I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to make another one and I will be right back. Okay, so I finished inking and doing my two pieces, and you can see this one is probably lighter than this one. This has got a lot of darker elements in it, and I love that you get a kind of almost purple hue coming off of orange from the colours that I've used, and I just like all the colours in it. So now I'm going to take my two die sets, I'm going to do some cutting and come back and we'll do a card base. Right, so I did my die cutting and there are some elements, I love them, but there's some elements that I want to change. So I'm going to use some fired brick and some brushed corduroy to do it. So these are the dies. I managed to keep them intact and cut them out, which is nice. I haven't got a load of bits floating around. So I just want to add some, you know, just darken it up. And so I'm just going to squeeze just a little bit of brushed corduroy down on here. And I'm going to pick it up with my trusty old water brush. You can buy these anywhere. And I'm just going to mix that up and darken some of the bits that I want to darken. I want them to look a little bit more uniform than the rest of it. And I don't know why, but I just feel that that little berry up there is supposed to be red. It probably isn't. It might even be a black coloured berry. You know, you can get really dark purple ones. So I just want to add just that little bit of detail. And around the acorns, they tend to be darker, don't they, at the bottom. So I just wanted to get that in. I think that one looks okay. And I'm not even sure whether I'm going to ink around these yet. But I just want to do this bit to make me happy. I haven't even done the card base, but I found a set of stamps that I want to use for the card base. And I'm going to share those in a second. So that's kind of more uniform. I don't know whether you can see that, but I certainly can. And things, I think, tend to get a truer colour once I've moved this grey mat out of the way, which I'll do shortly. Right, so I've darkened those bits up. Now rose hips are usually a reddy colour, which is why I want to use that fired brick, and I'm going to use it on the berries at the tops of there as well, just because I think it's going to give it a little bit of better detail. Right, so I'm quite happy with that, and I've still got my tissue that I clean my mat up with, so I'll get rid of that. And I'll put down some fired brick. And then I'm going to do my rose hips. Let's move that one over to there so that you can get a better look. Oh, that's better. I'm going to do their little tips as well. Oh, you know me and Piggy's store. I was on there yesterday. I was shopping again. I managed to get myself 11 dies for just under $15. So I've got to wait for those to arrive now. But I do spend most of my time in that store. And then I want to put some red into that. And a little bit of red into this. Right, I'm going to let those dry while I run off and cut my card base, and I'll be right back. So anyway, I didn't do my card base yet. I was tidying up and I put them down on my table mat here, and I've decided they need edging. So I've got my tool here and I'm using just regular distress ink in black soot. That's that stuff. And if you've never bought distress inks, if you're new to crafting, they are totally worth the money. I think I've re-inked this twice since I purchased it, and if I can find the date on here, I will share it with you. There it is, 2011. That's when I bought this ink pad. So 14 years ago. Right, so I've got some black soot on here, and I'm just going to highlight the underneathy bits. So I've got a little bit of shadow. That's what I'm doing. I think I might do the stem as well. You just have to tickle them a little bit, that's all. Just adds a little bit of character and makes it pop from its background. And I am going to do them all, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to use them all. So I will pause at this point now that you can see how it's done if you're new to inking. Just finish this one up. I've got that one, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I've done my base in white and craft cardstock, and I actually want to stamp onto this. So, and I've also got some twine I think I might use. Now, this set of stamps, I hauled these maybe a month ago, I'm not sure now. If I can find them, I will link them, but I want to use this brush stroke here. So I'm just going to get that out, and around here somewhere, I know I just put my stamp block. So I'm just peeling that off the package. Right, I found it. So I've got this, and I think I'm going to use fossilized amber. And that's all I'm going to use, so I'm just going to pop that onto there. I mean, using stamps like this, it doesn't really matter if you've accurately inked it or not. Because they're grungy. So I'm going to try and stamp it straight. Well, what looks straight to me anyway. I've got that on there. And then I might use it the other way around. Then I'm going to go there. I'm not sure, but I might put forest moss in between. In fact, I think I will. Why not? And I'm going to pop that one there. I'm not being particularly even because I am going to add some twine and foam onto the back of this. So I'll just go for my forest moss. Get some of that down on there. I think just for a little bit of contrast. See how nice and grungy they are. Right, so that's what I've got now as my background. I'll just put that stamp over there for washing. Move my ink out of the way, and the next thing I want to add is my twine, and Julie sent me this twine, so thank you, Julie. I think it's because she knows I just love craft type cardstock, and I also want to use some tape. Now I'm going to use foam tape, and I'm also going to use adhesive tape. So this stuff is from ALIEXPRESS and it's very good tape. And I'm trying to think where I want my twine. I think I want it about here. So looking here, I'm going to go there. So I'm just adding tape to the back of the card. Just in that one area. Get my scissors. I thought I'd forgot to put the camera on then. I'm always doing that. And then I want to peel the back off. And I want to get my twine. I'm wrapping quite a bit. I can wrap it back on afterwards. Just so that I don't get caught up in myself. Right, so I'm going to start at the top section. And I'm just going to go around. And then I'm overlapping it on the back like that. I think 3 times is enough. And then just push that down. And of course I'm using foam tape, so it's going to hide quite a bit. So that's what we've got so far. We've got our twine, we've got our stamps, and now we're going to put the foam on. So once again, Dollar Tree foam, nice and cheap. Although you can get it on AliExpress for similar price, but sometimes I can't be bothered to wait for the delivery. So you do want a fair amount of foam tape. Now this one isn't going to be posted, this is for my neighbour, so I know it's not going to be manhandled. Now I will tell you now, there is something that I will do, although I'm not doing it yet, and that is I will add a little tag with Happy Thanksgiving or something stamped onto it that I will fix just by where I've just put the twine when I'm ready to send it. And now I just need a little bit of foam here. Then I'm going to put some here. So you can see there is quite a large amount of foam tape involved, because you don't want your card squished. So if I flip that over, that's the canvas for our leaves. And now I need to get my craft base, which is what all of this is going to go on to, and move the backs off this. I'm going to try my best to be up on Wednesday, but I have to tell you, last week my bone pain was so bad. I spent most of it in bed because I just couldn't move really. Right, there we go. But you know me, I love crafting. And I know what did it to me. I went out in the garden and I just tried weeding under my avocado tree, and it was too much. Right, I'm going to go there. Now remember that your foam tape isn't permanent until you press down on it, which is what I just did. So we've now got our craft base, we've got our stamps, and we've got our twine. And the twine is just going to act as the element for all of this lovely autumnal foliage. And then it's all about flower arranging. So I do want my tallest things in the back. And I do like things that float on cards. So, you know, I'm not always a fan of sticking everything down all over. I love these acorns and I think they should dangle with those little leaves off the twine. So I have got 3 of those, which is nice. But we've got our gorgeous oak leaves. So sometimes when you're doing this, you can actually just sneak your glue in. And put the things where you want to. Like that one. Could go there. A little bit of texture. And you also start to discover if you're overdoing it. And I do like to overdo it. So I'm trying to think. Yeah. I'm creating a nice full bouquet. Now I want those somewhere else. And this is what I was arguing myself with. Did I want to use that one? I don't know what it is. I know that it's a birch leaf. I'm pretty sure it's a birch leaf. But they look like something else, don't they? And I don't like to think that other people might think it's something else. I think that's quite a nice little arrangement. Now, you can just get your bottle of glue, spin your card around so that you've got the elements that you want to glue towards you. I'm using my Aleene's and I'm still extremely happy with it, I have to tell you. And I'm holding this section and putting a blob of glue down, and then I can just move stuff as I want to. And like there's a little bit that leaked out there, so I'm going to pop it under that berry. Maybe there wasn't enough on there. But you can just piece bits down where you want them. Try and hold them. I'm fiddling around now. So I'll go there. And then I want those. So I'm going to put that there. Now this glue does dry clear, so you know, don't worry about it oozing out a little bit. So I'm kind of getting those bottom layers in and just moving it around. Now you can basically see the arrangement I've got here. So what I'll do is I'll carry on gluing and I'll come back. Right, so I finished doing that little bit of gluing. You can see those colours going on behind there. You can see my stalks are still sticking up. And that's okay because we've got our little leaf and we've also got these acorns. So I'm going to try and pop these on here. And I'm going to go straight onto the twine, I think, and put them into that little gap. Yeah, I kind of like the look of that. So utilising my twine, I'm going to spread glue onto there so that it will catch somewhere. And then I've got one acorn that's kind of slightly darker than those two, so I'm going to pop that one onto the top. And then I'm going to go there. And then this is the darkest one. I actually like that. Isn't it funny how sometimes ink lands right where you want it? I'm going to position that one a little bit there. So they've all got a good squish on them. And then I've got this little tiny set of leaves. And I think I'm just going to have it there. So I just need a smidgen of glue. Just along that bit. And that should hold it all. Now the glue is wet. Well, it is on those acorns, but that is what I've got for you today. Just really pretty, awesome colours. And if you want more blues or reds or whatever it is, if you decide to make one, then just go for it. But I'm going to be hanging a little tag either from here or from here. And if you wanted to print a sentiment, it would certainly fit down there. But it's just going to say Happy Thanksgiving, and it will be for my neighbour. So once again, thanks so much for joining me. I'm going to do my best to be up on Wednesday, and as usual, all links below. Bye.